Yeah, Venerable Sister, Dhamma friends, today is the second day in our retreat and second question and answer session. We will start the session with written questions and we invite you to the other questions if at all after the written questions.
Venerable Sir, I hope you have a lot of time today, Venerable Sir.
Lot of?
Time. We have 9 questions. 3 questions on sitting meditation. One question, out of which one is in 3 parts, okay? 1 question on sitting and walking. 3 questions on walking. 1 question on the yesterday's Dhamma talk and mindfulness meditation based on the person's practice. And 1 question on retreat organization. That's 9.
Okay.
Sitting meditation. Theruvan Saranai, Venerable Bhante. My primary object is in-breath and out-breath. This is my meditation experience of the last session yesterday and the first session of sitting meditation today. I sit in a comfortable position and know that I am sitting on my back. As my back is on the cushion and I feel the pressure points of my knees touching the floor, my body I feel upright. Focusing on the in and out breath, they are very subtle and even at the beginning. After a while, the breath disappears and a calm, peaceful state is noticed, which continues with no disturbance till the end of the session of 1 hour or slightly more, like 1 hour 10 minutes. I am fully awake and very alert during the calm state. This happened in the last session in the night. I thought it was because I was tired. I did not notice any other sensations, any other internal sensations. But this morning too, when I was fresh, this is my experience. After yesterday's Dhamma talk, I know I should not doubt this stage. Please advise me how I should proceed from here. Much merit to you, Bhante.
It's a very good statement or essay for an open discussion. This indicates my primary object is Anapanasati, but start with sitting posture and very well explain about the sitting posture, touching points and kind of thing, and then shift into the in-breath and out-breath, and it is disappearing, and after disappearing, they clearly indicate I am awake, but there are no objects as such, and attribute that to the tiredness in the last night, but today morning also the same. So, if we are to discuss the 2 states of mindfulness, one thing is with object and one thing is without object. So, I would like to start the dialogue with the particular person who has written the essay according to his or her value judgment, which mindfulness is more efficient. Mindfulness with object and mindfulness without object. If the person is happy to come for the discussion, we can open.
I feel without objects is more progressive, like because the awareness is there but no object. Still the awareness is very much there. So I feel that.
So you have mentioned in the essay According to the Dhamma talk, you must not make doubts about that, entertain doubts. But all over a essay is a doubt. Otherwise, you should not ask the question.
Yes, just confirmation from you, Bhante.
Confirmation of what?
Whether it is, I'm on the correct path. Whether it is the correct. I know I shouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
Just confirmation only.
So you think confirmation from Dhammajiva is better than your confirmation, your own practice?
Yes, because you have more experience, sir.
No, my experience is not to give that kind of hope. Disappoint your hopes, keep on continuing. No. I would like to ask, to put into trouble, I'll ask question, what you have experienced is it's a question or an answer?
It's a statement.
That statement is a question or an answer?
A statement which I want you to confirm that it is correct.
That
or
is
not. Correct or not. Yeah.
So that asking
it's a
someone
question,
is
yes.
a question or it's an answer?
It's a question, yes, it's a question.
So that means doubt. I am telling that is the way our mind is cheating. And you are hoping a superior being is there always to rectify my doubts, just like cleaning your clothes. No such. Only you have to understand this answer, confirm it by repetitive application. It's simple like that. So I am not finding fault with, I am not putting into trouble, this is my nature. But I am telling you, your statement is well accepted, good. But you see, our mind is cheating us. Whenever we are on the correct path, mind is cheating. Mind is doubtful.
Yeah, doubtful.
Whenever you do whole lot of wrong things, no problem. You continue like very adamantly and very boldly going on. But whenever the mind is going to the correct direction, it is always asking problems and entertaining doubts, and it appears like a knowledge, it appears like an inquiring mind, it appears like a pondering into that. This is not the pondering. This is not the discursive thoughts. This is the way our mind is cheating. So you are eccentric. You are no more fertilizing or facilitating or feeding, and instead, what should I do next? Utter nasty, utter negative. I am not hitting you. I am telling for the open discussion, this is the mind. Whenever we are on the correct path, we have doubt either regarding moral conditions, or we consider this doubting as a knowledge, inquiring mind. So this is the way we have to thrash open and say, if this is considered as an endowment or gift or an answer, only one thing, do it again and again. That's called anupassana. Repetitively you do. Anupassana is almost like vipassana. Now you got a glimpse. Now you wanted to have the confirmation. Don't ask anyone. As far as you are asking, you are undermining your own experience and your own progress and your own methodology. But I know, methodology is not yet confirmed. Only way it, ask others or any person, how can I repeat it again and again? That's a valid question. It's a more pointed question.
Yeah.
So repetitive application, if someone is asking, I have my set question. I say, once you experience this and you know how to repeat it. If you have never experienced it, you have nowhere to think about how to report and what to repeat. So therefore now you are better off. There's two incidents. So you know it is nothing to be doubtful, not to entertain doubts. And what advice I can give is, after hacking you, after disturbing you, after everything, please repeat the same. Do whatever may be to facilitate, to have it again and again, because first and foremost you have to see this is an endowment, this is a gift, this is an answer rather than the question. Don't make question out of that answer. Every day in day-to-day activities, we are always make questions out of answers. Then no one can help you. So therefore yogi, when you are practicing, you have this bifork road, this is a wrong path, this is a correct path. And sometimes you hit the correct path, And even then no confirmation, no verification. So you have to at your own risk, you have to do it again and again. When you are doing, if the path is correct, very quickly the verification happens. And you find it is on your own invention like.
Yeah.
Not like the Buddha's invention, not like the Dhammajiva's invention. Like, of course, it is Dhammajiva's invention, never mind. But you have to consider it as my own, not the Buddha. And I selected because so much of thrills and frills. Because you are doing it at a risk. You are ready to run a risk. I would say risk lover. I would say a radical reflection. Unconventional way of thinking. So that is very, very rejuvenating, rather than asking. Of course, if there is one person to ask and the reference points, well and good. It's my duty not to give any helping hand. Just you push into the deepest part of the river and ask you to either sink and die or to cross.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah, thank you, Bhante.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So anyone in the audience wish to contribute to this one? Or going to accept everything point blank?
Pardon, Bhante. How do you know whether it's correct path or not if we repeat it again and again?
That's what I told. At your own risk, take it as the correct path and do it again and again. If it is the correct path, second time you do by your own initiative, radical reflection, and definitely going to give a positive answer. You feel like doing again and again. So much so, you feel like it is your own invention.
Yes.
It's a luck by chance like. But of course it is written in the book and it's always well documented. But whenever it is happening to you, it appears like completely electric, complete novelty. Otherwise no thrills in this meditative life. If someone prescribing, go to the pharmacy and take the medicine and cure it. No. You go to the forest, chew into each and every tree. The day you eat the medicinal tree, it is your own invention. That is your radical reflection is the one we call yogi. You do 1001 mistakes, never mind, the day you hit it, you feel that it's a extrasensory perception is there, something new, something novelty, something unknown, something new. Frog jump into the old pond, plop. So whenever you are going to see methodology, you are at lost. You asking formula. You asking what to do next. That is always our lenient mind. That is corrupted mind with this modern day education.
But Bhante, when you are here, we get the guidance from you. But at home, I think sometimes we get difficult, right? It's difficult. Sometimes we feel that it might be wrong like that.
So I try my best to make you difficult. You feel difficult even here. That is my best. I put you in the deepest trouble.
But your guidance helps us, right?
No, this is the guidance. As far as you have basic understanding or tenet of the mindfulness, keep on doing noble quest. No one is going to punish you because it is for the noble quest. And 1001 mistakes you do. Earlier you did it without mindfulness. Now you do with mindfulness, and one day you will hit, definitely. And there your sixth sense going to say, something a new opening, repetitive application. So therefore each and everyone's Nibbana is new. Everyone is. Of course they are grateful to the Buddha due to give this initiative, this radical reflection, this kind of a novelty, break through all your convention, all your blinkers, all your views. When it happens, you are the first one to know this is happening. But our education, our culture, is putting such blinkers, you never turn around and see. You feel fearful, you feel uncertainty, you feel doubtful, and you consider this doubtful as the knowledge or inquiring mind. Anyone else?
At home it feels like disturbance, but here you don't feel like that. That's the difference.
It's a challenge here.
Yeah.
It's a question paper. You have to go through it.
Yeah.
By escapism, just postponing and wastage of time.
Yeah.
So one day when you are in the faculties are intact, when you have time like this, your morality is already confirmed, faith is there, and the tool mindfulness is there, dash through. Behind.
Once Saranai, Most Venerable Bhante, I just want to confirm myself as well. In such situation, you make the macro and micro environment conducive, and then go prepared. And if it recurs, then I'm confident and in the right path. And if it does not, it's something like visual illusions and things like that.
Or conditioning, or or trance, kind of addicted, the alcoholism, or half dream. That kind of thing also can make it, but it cannot be repetitively appearing. Repetitively appearing, only the truth can happen. So when the truth can happen, it's a double positive. Because you risk one positive. Second thing is going to give positive results, double positive. Otherwise, one negative. You are wrong. So you have to the trade between one negative and double positive. So then I call yogi.
That one son.
When I watch my breath, it's so subtle I can't even notice it. So when I make a extra effort, I feel the pressure that I'm doing it, and as if there's a tightening feeling. But today I experienced, when I was not focusing or not trying so hard to watch the breath, I felt as if these two sides were inflating and deflating inside. I don't know whether I was imagining or whether it actually happened. That was the only thing I could feel, because I don't feel my breath at all.
So, may I ask a question? So, when it becomes subtle,
Yeah.
Earlier you used to do forced breathing.
Yes, Bhante.
Now, you have taken a risk. Let it happen alone without forced breathing, and instead of the headache and tension, you feel muscle dancing and some kind of a nervous stimulations, and you don't know whether it's an imaginary one or concept or reality.
Yes, Bhante.
And meanwhile you observe the breath is becoming subtler and subtler and subtler.
Yes, Bhante.
So this is the kind of a risky thing, is a kind of a experimenting, is a kind of a quest. And that is what I invite.
Okay.
Because I am ready to quote a teaching of the Buddha. The Buddha says, whenever the mind is defiled, or defilement is always arising with an object, with a sign, with a feeling, with a perception, with a manipulation, or volitional activity, or knowing me and not me and all the kind of thing. So you have to understand this particular defilement came with an object, or with a sign, or with a pain, perception, whatever may be. So you have to understand if the object, the perception, the sign is gross, defilement is gross. If the object is subtle, defilements are subtle. If the object disappeared, defilement disappeared. So if you are on the way, looking forward to see a temporary mind state which is without defilements, that means no object, no feeling, no perception, no volitional activities, no me and not me boundaries like that. So when the object becomes subtle, you are in an utter challenge situation. If you are not happy, not acquainted with this theory, usually what happens is you tend to breath, and you try to open your eyes and see at least to get the body, so that you feel at home. So that means you are breaking your trend, breaking your progress. And you are the very bloody fool breaking the progress. Because one thing you don't know, theoretically. And the second thing is, you don't know what to do for the progress. So what you should do to the progress is simply doing nothing. That we do not know. Letting goism and doing nothing is we consider as negative. But for that particular moment, that is the best thing you have to do. Moment you do, you are not force breathing, and you feel tingling sensation, and still you can see the breath is disappearing. And this is a kind of a new thing you have to do yourself. You can't compensate it by book reading, or someone's blessing, or someone's helping, or doing other kind of merit-making works. So it's a risk. And this is not the Nibbana also. You have to understand this and invest like this, do it again and again, and more you go, you become a risk lover. And definitely you are a good businessman. Otherwise how to, if you are not a risk lover, business will not work. So you have to invest. But investing, within this life, you can verify it. But at the beginning, while you are investing, your life is being threatened, your morality is being threatened, your mindfulness is threatened, sometimes concentration also threatened. Because you have kind of a frame telling concentration must be like that, mindfulness is like that, object must be like that, but everything is challenged. But still you take the option, doing nothing. That's the way you learn how to do away with egotistic idea, how to do away with conceit, how to do away with desire. That is, when the time permits, when the maturity happens, put the machine into autopiloting, doing nothing. Definitely then the progress is happening. That means you bound to see still subtle layers of mindfulness, breath, and more the breath becomes subtle, so much so the mindfulness becomes refined. And kind of a concentration happens, it is so versatile, never break by lack of object, lack of expectation. And the doubts will be refined, and the foresight, foresight increases, that is boosting the personality, or the confidence. So what a risky thing, what a novelty, what a scout-like, world guide-like, jumping into the forest, leaving aside all your luxuries. So this is what I wish to share with the school children. Don't listen to teachers. Don't listen to your parents. They are bloody fools, idiots. They make you square. They make them blind, benumbed. Children are such a potential. Whenever you give opening, they say, Bhante, you have love more than my mothers. You understand me more than my teacher. Because they are stereotyping. And this opening, lucky I don't have children. Otherwise, parents will be undergoing a hell. Whenever they become mindful, whenever they are mindful, they are ever challenging parents. But parents are fools. They don't know mindfulness, they don't know this open-mindedness, they don't know this versatility. So that is why we have to behave, we have to understand the child psychology. Even though we are elderly people, That is called innocence. Arrogance is the one it is killing our development. Whenever you become innocent, ready to do experimenting, since we are in moral abiding, and in the mindfulness certain amount, and we have the faith kind of thing. Ultimately you earn your own direct touch or direct experience. You can't compensate it with anything. So that's why I just wanted to have this kind of a statement. It's a common open discussion, so that the vipassana lovers or risk lovers or risk they will really entertain. But I know some people, some meditators, those who are chasing behind the concentration, they will quit the retreat and go home. They can't tolerate. This is not what they expect. This is not what they read in the books. So they think they should have a golden formula, one after the other technical writing. Bhante knows everything he is not giving, he is very jealous. He is giving very little by little. So therefore, Bhante, can you squeeze little more and give more? Nothing. As far as you have the mindfulness, you have the whole range. Do yourselves, and definitely we must be hugging each other and protect each other and share each other. And then ultimately we find that we have to done our own part, our own risk, our own investment. And we can't do because of the egotistic idea, because of our conceit, because of our pleasure principle. Anyone else to come and contribute?
Thank you, Bhante. Avasarai Swamin Vansa. Yesterday you said about starting the meditation to feel that you are sitting, to first to know that you are sitting. So I tried it yesterday in the night after your sermon, and then only I realized that all these days I did not know I was sitting and I was looking for something else, whereas mindfulness should have been there. So I could feel the different areas of my body touching the cushion and my hands touching the body and the dress and everything. And then the mind automatically settled on the breath. But it didn't remain on the breath. I was aware of objects coming and going, but I don't think I lost the mindfulness. It was there right throughout. Up to the time I went to sleep. So I had a very sound sleep, and in the morning, from the time I woke up, it was the same. When I just put my feet on the floor, I could feel the feet without intentionally looking for it, like how we used to do earlier. And then even going on to the Dhanasala, I could feel the feet. I could feel the feet when I was walking and eating. First time I experienced that. It was not the movement that I saw, but every time I touched the food, I felt the touch. So there was no, whether it was rice or whatever. And that the taste I got, different tastes as usual, but it was more the tongue touching the food. So it went on like that, and it's very interesting. So, did you notice the touch a female one? No.
Male?
No.
This is the touch of Buddha. The moment you feel the touch, that's the same way the Buddha is feeling. It's a human. So when you go to that, all this discrimination, all fundamentalism, everything goes because you are touching the ground. It is just two parts come together and you comes to know. And there is no male-femaleness. There is no theoretical understanding. There is nothing, seniority what you call. There is no time dimension. There is no space dimension. And when you are there, you are ever in it. And whenever you understand the touch or the posture, don't worry about the breath. Breath is just yet another object. And I feel whenever I start retreat, people are so much worrying, they don't feel the breath. So they'll go for the teachers to teachers, meditation centers to centers. And if the breath is not there, what about the rising and falling? If it is not there, what about the metta bhavana? It was not available, what about the Buddha Anusati? So they are coming with one after the other. So they never touch the touchstone. So it's such a simple thing. So therefore some people say, I am oversimplifying. No. Read the Chappanaka Sutta, read the Satipatthana, such a simple thing Buddha is teaching. So our mind is making complicated. And according to the supply and demand theory, so yogis are very happy and waiting to have a complex formula. So teachers are formulating formulas and give, and then the business is happening. It's such a simple thing. Otherwise, how can we communicate with children? So the Satipatthana concept gave me such a drastic, different view, because they are unconditioned souls. You say, just sit and see, how do you know? And they come out. And their reporting is like parrot talking. Very crispy, very poetic, very aesthetic, very down to earth. They don't know the jargon. They don't know the technical terms. So much so. So I wish every one of you just become a child. Just become a beginner's mind. Forget about the femaleness, forget about the maleness, forget about that senior yogi, junior yogi. Convention it is yes. And you can go through. So I went to the prison and all the participants were criminals and they are sentenced to death. And I told that, never mind, you don't worry about the precepts and do breath. How many breaths you can see, how many steps you can walk. And for the first time they did walking meditation. And in the question and answer session they asked very deep questions. And one person told one day, not only you, every people come and say that precepts are immaterial for the mindfulness, but we never believe because we are criminals. And today, when I am walking, I can remember 4 steps, one after the other. Left leg, right leg, left leg, right leg. Before leaving, keeping the 5th step, I was so electrically charged to say 4 steps mindfulness. My lack of precepts, morality, immaterial. So I thought like talking to you, and not only that, I went 10 more steps. Utterly mindful. And this is the first time I experience, without my self-criticism, I am a criminal, I am sentenced to this, everything gone. So I must say, give the capital punishment for each and every one of you. You'll be killed in few days' time, then only you will be ready to do, unless otherwise you are worrying about the capital punishment. And I can definitely tell you, when I am looking at the faces of that criminals, it's much, much, much better than yours. They never worry. You won't believe.
Too late to worry, Nuswat. Too late not to worry.
They are already decided, their capital punishment is waiting. So whenever you introduce mindfulness, a very good option for them. And some people come and organize everything, the meeting. I thought they are officers. No, they are also prisoners. They are the people serve tea. They are the people introduce me. Very nicely. You see? Therefore, just understand we are in a frame. When the frame is not there, you must break it in a smart way, otherwise our mind is very smart. Always try to find a formula. Always try to find a theorem. Always try to find a blessing from someone else. But to touch the ground early morning in there, what teaching? What formula? What blessing? Anyway, it is not related to what we are talking about. Never mind, appreciated, welcome. So we'll go to the next question.
The next question also on sitting meditation. Most Venerable Bhante, I start watching in-breath and out-breath. No sooner I sit down, the breath calms down and I get into a very calm state which I no longer observe the breath. When I'm in this calm and comfortable state for a while, some thoughts are popping in which do not have any relationship to my past or future, but they just come and go. During this time, I can hear the background noises, but those do not bother or disturb me. During this time to time, I look at the in-breath and out-breath, but not for a long. I can be in this calm state for about an hour. Once I open my eyes, and if I close it again, I can soon go back to the same state. I am experiencing this state for some weeks now. The thoughts I get during the calm state of mind I am not able to recollect well when I get up from the sitting posture. Please advise me whether I am on the correct path and how to progress from this stage. Thank you and much merit to you for all your guidance. May you achieve all your goals and desires in this very life itself.
Can that particular person also recognize herself? And did you get the answer from our discussion, or do we need further analysis? So anyway, I need a statement from you to the mic. Can I demand?
Yes, Bhante. When you answered Devika's question, I realized that I don't need an answer for that. I need to do it on and on and on. Then I will see what happens. And if I can't understand that point, again I'll come back to you.
So whenever
I won't give up.
Not only that, if someone going to ask this question from you, you must be aware, you must be ready to answer it, just to give back the confidence. Just to give back, we have our rights, we have our privilege to do it again and again. That is our past good merits, good deeds. We can do experiment again and again. More and more you practice, the consolidation happens, the precipitation happens, clarity happens. So it is tremendous thing in human life. You do again and again, little bit of doubt there, and that will reduce. Again you do little bit of doubt, and it's also rectifying. And you feel that the telepathic relationship, Dhamma is working. So getting the first glimpse is very, very systematic. You have to go to the meditation center, take precepts and be with, and this rule and that rule and all the kind of thing. Once you gain the establishment, that is to call reinforcement or galvanizing the same thing, it's utterly you have to depend upon yourself. And potential-wise, they say each and every one of us has the same potential, same ways and means. 1,000 ways and means if you know what to do. If you do not know, whatever you do, it's a foolishness. Methodists, formulas and theorems are just foolish. If you know what to do and whatever you do, even the mistakes, become your teacher. Which you know this is not to do. And how to communicate it, how to give it to someone it's an aesthetic thing. No system. Only thing is trial and error. So therefore that trial and error, that experimenting also praiseworthy thing will do. There is no teacher, there is no student. Every one of us has to share openly more than our blood related. We are Dhamma related. And we thrash. We open and then sparks happen occasionally. So we are not going to take time to analyze you this thing. We are going to go to the next question.
This also on sitting meditation. This is in several parts, Venerable Sir, and the questions are based on a period of practice. Okay, Venerable Bhante, I am used to focusing on breathing in and breathing out as my primary object. What do I do when I am confronted with strong feelings of worry on my state of practice, and then emotions like fear, weird thoughts that affect my practice, hindrances or problems of the lack of guidance which I need to seek when necessary? These arise in such situations while I am at home and practicing.
No, these are all mind-made. As far as you know, when the mind comes here and now, problems are solved. Whenever you are eccentric, you are thinking about the future, what will happen when I go home, and what will happen when the fear comes, what will happen when the anxiety comes. So how much you happy with the anxiety, fear and future projections rather than the here and now? So you can write 1001 questions. That means you are feeding defilements. The answer is, be here and now. Amidst of all the fear, all the anxiety, all the difficulties, see possibilities how quickly or how frequently you can come to the here and now. Each time you come, your trend will be broken. Your defilement trend, the momentum will be broken. But that simple thing you don't ready to accept, you think there should have a formula for anxiety to be answered, or fear to be answered, or doubtfulness to be answered. No such. More you appreciate the here and now, less and less the doubts and everything will be rectified. So, moment you give thought, second thought about the doubt, you are feeding it, fertilizing it, and you are doing away with the present moment. You become eccentric. So, that is the normal. That is our beginner's mind state. Never mind. See again and again how frequently, how quickly you can assume here and now. And if you claim, these are the permanent blockage for me to come here and now, you are disqualified to be a meditator. There are no such thing. Because here and now is such a versatile, such a powerful, such a omnipotent, such a omnipresent thing. When and where you come to the here and now without disturbance, and when and where you come to the here and now with disturbances, I give more marks to the with disturbances. This is the novelty. So therefore, if you are feeding and fertilizing this uncertainty, I am telling, sorry to say, you are a self-torturing kind of a person. You are a inferiority kind of a mentality, and that very understanding of your inferiority is the biggest discovery. And your understanding of your self-torturing nature is a bigger discovery, because anyone going to tell you will not accept unless otherwise you understand under your very nose. But even then you are not happy to accept it. But can't tell. The moment you become mindful, you understand how much you are torturing yourself. Self-torturing. So 6 years, the Buddha to be underwent this self-torturing, and he himself told, I am not appreciating it, but I am reporting for you to understand how much I went through, because many people were supporting this self-torturing, because people are, outside world is full of hate. So they are very happy to see other self-torturing kind of people. You cannot be a jolly good bird. And the moment you understand, what a self-torture nature is such a joke, it's such a smile, it's such a opening, then you can understand. Easily you can see why people are behaving like that. And don't look down. You have no any rights, because you also have been in the same boat. Now only you know you are just raised above the water level, and you can see how much people are torturing themselves. And these people never ever be loving kindness to the others? They don't know. If they are bankruptcy in the loving kindness to themselves, and if they are self-torturing, what the hell we can expect from them? So therefore the understanding is, so these are very classic way of writing the foolishness, the idiotness. Because I am telling, because the answer is there, because you can, under any circumstances, you can be here and now, be again and again here and now. If that message is crossed, this message is given, you have to understand the foolishness, you have to understand the idiotness, you have to understand the self-torturing nature, and then easily you will be appreciating the mindfulness, the be here and now, and the non-judgmental observation.
Well, sir, there are 2 more parts to the question. Shall I continue with them?
Yeah.
Shall I read both parts first or
yes.
Just one? Okay. Part 2. After becoming aware of the in-breath and the out-breath, how could you sharpen your aim that the mind is attentive, in precise aim and effort, important in mindfulness, is precise aim and effort, important in mindfulness, in what ways to aid precision and accuracy? If another object impinges on the awareness and draws it away from the in and out breath, what should you do? What kind of awareness do we seek in meditation and why? It seems a heavy task to maintain continuous awareness throughout the day. How can we make our awareness precise?
It is only if you can save one thought moment, that's enough. Don't worry about the day. That means you are already out of the present moment. The other thing is, whenever second object happen, see whether it is you do it intentionally or the object happen without your volition, without your intention. Then don't worry about that. It may be very drastic, it may pull your attention, be aware, because as far as it is not your volitional activity, as far as it is not a willful activity, you are not responsible. And you can just leave that time, and again when and where you come to your primary object, it's a matter of time. More you with the primary object, the quantity and quality increases. More you try, you are losing. Just acquainted, just face to face, just have view with, just avenue with the primary object as long as possible, with maybe distraction, with maybe some interruptions. So whatever coming, don't take any notice or don't worry about that, because it is a gate crasher, it is not an invited guest. Moment you worry, that become defilement, that become your volitional activity, worrying. So simply you can say, main thing is not to worry. And when and where possible, go back to your primary object, matter of time. More you be with the primary object, less and less distraction. Quantity and quality of your relationship with the primary object is assured to be increased and improved.
The next is a question on both walking and sitting meditation. Venerable Sir, thank you very much for all the hard work that you do for us. Many blessings. Venerable Sir, when doing Sakman, I felt the choir mat touch the soles. Was aware I was not seated or lying down, but walking. Each time that the left foot was lifted to keep the next step, there was a small sound coming, maybe from the ankle. I was largely able to be here and now, when standing still. I noted that the body had a subtle sway when the 2 feet were trying to balance the weight. The breathing became very noticeable. When the walking speed increased, I sweated. But the fast walk was comfortable and effortless. It was easier to be here and now. Few thoughts and sounds were observed, but I was able to come back to the main task without difficulty. Pariyanka Bhavana, sitting meditation.
So as far as the walking meditation is concerned, don't worry about the quality, don't worry about the detail, just be acquainted with, I am walking, I am not sitting, I am not standing, I am not lying down. So when and where possible, just familiarize your walking posture, and more you be, that is to say, more and more you feel homely, more and more it become your second nature, all the qualities, all the details, all the pondering will happen, it's a matter of time. So you must try your best, amidst of all the distractions or without distraction, just be aware, now here I am here and now, I am walking. Whenever you are thinking, you understand, never mind. Even while thinking, if you know you are walking, still you get marks. Or even if you are hearing and still if you know you are not sitting and not standing, you are gaining. So let them happen. Don't interact. Don't fight with them. Under the light of mindfulness or under the guise of I am here walking, just embrace them. Not the way, not the embrace as a don't react. Let them come and go. Just be aware of your posture. Okay, we'll go to the sitting posture.
Sitting down in the sitting posture on the ground was easier than yesterday. Noted I couldn't read that word, Venerable Sir. Noted that the body was getting hunched periodically. I straightened up periodically. When the in-breath and the out-breath became steady and subtle, my eyelids became heavy, and there was a sense of drowsiness. It was pleasant. The outside noises were there in between, but that was in the background and did not matter. Before the breathing became subtle, I found the voices coming from the ground floor disturbing. That's it.
Yeah. So as far as the ground floor sounds are there, and other different voices may be there, different other sensation may be there, as far as you know you are sitting, not walking, you have to sympathize yourself, okay, now I am progressing. Because these distractions and others, if you are not proliferating them, they come to go. They come and go. But you can make, I am sitting, I am here and now sitting, as your canvas. Within that canvas, a lot of drawings can happen. Don't look at the drawing, just see the canvas. And try to see more and more with, yes, I am sitting. And thinking may happen. Sounds may happen. Or pains. Don't make stories. Don't fabricate it. Whenever you fabricate, you understand you are undermining your primary object, you are undermining your simplicity, undermining your direct approach. So therefore, let them come and go. Main thing is not to worry. And ultimately they will not be pricky. They will not be inflicting. They will not be creating suffering. Because you always take refuge just sitting. So when you are walking, you know you are walking. When you are sitting, you know you are sitting. When you are lying down, you know you are lying down. When you are standing, you know. And don't expect when it is happening, no sound, no pain, no thought kind of thing. On this earth, there is no such thing. Only what I am telling you can accommodate them as gate crashers, uninvited guests. Don't worry about that. Because you know where to anchor. Ultimately, mind learn ways and means how to get encouraged, because mind is, even though superficially disturbed, it's always happy to be with less worries. It is happy to be less frustrated. It is happy to be wavering kind of thing. So that happens when the time matures. It's a matter of time. So don't expect too much of detail from the beginning. Just be aware of your posture. If the breath happens, well and good. If the left and right steps happening in the walking, well and good. And when you are walking, if again the breath becomes well and good. But you are not carried away by these details. Be aware of the basic, or I can say the canvas. Don't worry about the pictures in the canvas.
Next is a reporting on walking meditation. Venerable Bhante. Object. Movement of the feet. Noted and labeled. Sometimes as right and left. Sometimes as lifting, taking forward, dropping. This goes very rapidly in my mind. Then I tried to look for more in detail and noticed sensations. But then the labeling of the movement went away. What did I come to know? While noticing the sensations, 1. Near the heel, more friction and weight. During in contact with the flow of the mat, during in contact with the flow, the roughness of the mat and pressure points aren't equally distributed. 3. Cold and smoothness of the tile. Thank you, with metta.
So this you are becoming closer and closer to the object. So maintain the trend. Don't try to be smart. Just give more and more acquaintance, familiarity with walking. And as far as you know, you are walking without much of details. And if it is increasing, I am repeating, if you are increasing time associated with the walking, that is the only thing you have to eschew at the beginning, and the rest of the will follow suit.
The next question on walking meditation. I will have difficulty reading it. I will read it, Venerable Sir, but just so that the person knows, to please increase the size of your letters when you write, so that I have less difficulty reading because of my eyesight. Okay, thank you.
Too old.
Yes, Venerable Sir, but still short-sighted.
Can't help.
So I have to read without specs. Most Venerable Bhante, seek your very kind guidance via the first attempt at reporting meditation experiences. I am a first-time residential retreatant and not an experienced yogini. Primary object, movement of feet, noting, lifting, moving, placing. Experience, initially walked extremely slowly and observed the following. The heel is lifted off the ground first, then the midsole, next the toes. There is a moment when the entire weight of the body is on one leg and I am standing on one leg during moving. Weight starts shifting to the other leg the moment the heel is lifted off the ground. When placing begins, the toes touch the ground first, then the midsole, and lastly the heel. The very moment the heel is placed on the ground, a pull can be felt on the other foot, starting from the heel and then pull on the calf muscle. Also noted movement of feet as left and right at times, and observed a pain in the right leg upper body. No pain observed in the left leg. When walking extremely slowly, was able to maintain focused attention on the movement of the feet for a few steps, i.e. 3 to 5 steps. Thereafter attempted walking at a normal pace with the same noting as above. Experience. Felt there was not enough time to observe shifting of weight and unable to observe heel, midsole, toes being lifted and placed as separate units. Was able to maintain focused attention for a relatively greater number of steps, i.e. 10 to 15 steps. Other experiences and distractions. Aversion due to hearing loud human voices. Greed due to hearing pleasant calling of birds. Metta due to insect stings and hovering around the eyes. Worry due to pain in the right leg, contemplated on old age and suffering due to pain in the right leg. Aversion towards myself for losing focus on my primary object. Contemplated death due to seeing yellow leaves falling off the trees. Contemplated that Lord Buddha's teachings are like leaves held in the palm, whereas what Lord Buddha knows was like the leaves in the forest. Gladness and conceit due to being able to focus attention. After becoming mindful of each distraction, reverted attention to primary object again. This was a cycle throughout the day during walking meditation, with much gratitude.
So the important part is the early part of the essay explaining the essence, or we call sap, we call the juice of lifting, moving, dropping, and it is ending up telling I can't see the whole picture. That is natural. At a time we see one portion and another portion later, and inferential knowledge only put everything into a jigsaw puzzle into this thing. So you can't expect everything to be observed in one shot. Never happens. So this is the way you are gaining, and worries can happen. All these things can happen, but your right to come back to the primary object is never deprived. So therefore let the worries to come. It will make meditation more colorful, eventful, challengeful, and try to get more and more piecemeal basis. When you heal, the arc, the toes, the left, the right, moving, dropping. So as far as information increasing, that's all you can do. Later all the put into the jigsaw puzzle will happen naturally. It is kind of a chewing the cud. First you eat and then chewing the cud, like the cattle. So in the field work, gaining is the one, so therefore early part is good. Balance, I am not going to discuss now, definitely it will follow suit as far as you are making sure about the early part of your essay.
Next is another question on walking meditation, Venerable Sir, and it is a newcomer. I can arrange for the CD to be played again for anyone who feels they need to listen to your guidance. However, you can ask me to do that, or would you like to give a brief guidance on walking meditation? I'll read the question to you. Okay. Thiruvan Saranai Venerable Bhante, though I have been doing the walking meditation, I would like to get the correct instructions from you, Bhante, as to how one should practice it each time. Thank you.
The particular person, if you can raise the question, is too generic for me, because we have given the basic instructions. If it's difficult to a particular part, I can add that into the Dhamma talk or in the discussion. But the question is not clear. Can you please repeat the question?
Though I have been doing the walking meditation, I would like to get the correct instructions from you, Bhante, as to how one should practice it each time.
No, whenever you do, if you can give me little bit of your experience, then I am through. Without giving any experience, so I am in dark. So therefore, if you are practicing, tell me or share with me what is your experience without that difficult. So not we are going to take time now. So we'll go to the next question.
So if you can speak to me later, if you still have problems with the question.
Write again
please.
Tomorrow with your experience, then I know where to guide.
This is a question on Dhamma and mindfulness. Venerable Sir, I am very grateful to you for your talk last evening and for explaining the importance of dealing with vitakka and vichara. I would like to know if I have understood correctly. Is vitakka thoughts related to the sense organs, like thoughts related to hearing or seeing? Is vichara, which you referred to as pondering, the same as mental proliferation? Please also let me know if I am dealing with them correctly. With vitakka, I label it hearing, or feeling, and then bring the mind back to the breath. With vichara, I label it as mental proliferation, then bring the mind back to the breath. Please let me know if this is correct, or do I need to go back to the posture? Much merit to you, Venerable Sir.
The situation is complicated, getting complicated, talking about the breath, the proliferation and the breath. So take one thing at a time and then understand the vitakka vichara, otherwise you are taking three variables and still going to understand vitakka vichara is complicated. So vitakka means adverting into the object, whatever it may be, leaving others, you are adverting to one particular object, whether it is sense organ related or not. Vichara is, you know it is not the other thing, it is it. And what is it? The taste of the object that you touched. So therefore, talk with one object, either sitting or breath or proliferation, then easier to talk, easier to learn about vitakka vichara. If you are going to handle three variables at a time, difficult. Continue and it will be straight and quickly.
Venerable Sir, would you be willing to take any one of the three and then answer the question? Say, would you be willing to speak of vitakka and vichara relating to hearing, for example?
No, you are talking about the same question.
Correct.
No, you are adding one more variable then. Now we have become four variables, so you have to leave aside the vitakka vichara. Take one variable and learn the vitakka vichara, either sitting or thinking or listening or proliferation. Then we can understand vitakka vichara. We are going to do four variables. Situation is difficult. So let that particular person to rewrite the essay with one variable, either sitting or breath or proliferation, or as Lakshmi added the fourth complication, listening.
Thank you, Venerable Sir. I'll see that the question is written again. The final question is on retreat organizing. Venerable Sir, this retreat is excellent and I am very grateful to be a part of it. I have a little problem with the timetable, as there is no time allowed for rest or showering, etc. During the walking meditation from 12 to 1 p.m., I rested as I felt very sleepy, but I felt very guilty because I did not follow the timetable. As a suggestion, is it possible to change the 12 to 1 slot to walking meditation and or resting? That would indicate that we are permitted to take a rest during that time. With grateful thanks.
No, resting is it's a poison. No time. Resting means you are asking defilements to come and engulf you. So therefore always be mindful. And see, our mind is how crafty. Asking overtime, asking the short leave, asking this and that. No nonsense. Try to keep, and you're feeling guilty is a good sign that you are on toes. Not torturing kind of thing. The mind is always asking escapism. So what do you mean by resting? Letting the defilements to come, inundate you, engulf you. And whatever the position, be mindful. Whatever the amount possible. Don't think that all the 8 hours or 18 hours or 24 hours to be mindful. If the mindfulness is increasing day by day, these are just crafty mind. So our mind is always, mind never knows its potential. So always the lazy bones, finding escapism. We have done 138 retreats. So we know it is working. So therefore please adopt into that and rest in your bed in the sense, but be mindful, diligent, awake. So otherwise you will ask a kind of a air conditioning, soundproof, all the kind of, because you won't, otherwise you won't get the proper rest. So you have to understand that is an eccentric situation. And there's a request that Mixlr, it is always transmitting while we are conducting the retreat, question and answers. Some people asking whether there are possibility to write questions to the computer and then take little time in the same audience. I told that we will discuss it, and of course Uday can't handle it due to his English problems. I asked that Lilamani to look into, and Mixlr people I invite, if you have questions, please write in short so that we can continue the discussion with other people, those who are participating from different other parts of the world. And today, if it is available, please take note, and tomorrow we can continue, because now we have already taken 20 minutes more than what we scheduled. So we are going to have 40 minutes for walking meditation and meet here at 3 o'clock for our group sitting. Thank you very much for the participation.